Alright, what's up guys? I know it's been a while since we've posted something. Today we're going to go over the properties of exponents. As for our first one, we're going to do the product of powers. Now the product of powers is essentially x to the first times x to the first. Now what does this equal? Now whenever we multiply an exponent by an exponent, we're going to add them, and they must have the same the same base value, which is x and x. And since we're adding them, it's gonna be 1 plus 1 is equal to x squared. Another example would be x to the third times x to the fifth. Product of powers means that we add the exponents. It'd be x to the eighth. Now we'll move on to our next one. Our next one will be the power of a power. Power of a power will be 3 to the 7th, parentheses, 3. 3 to the power of 7th is cubed. Now, whenever we have the power of a power, we're going to multiply these two equations together. So 7 times 3, 21. Next, another example would be x times 6 to the power of 7. Now, 6 times 7 is equal to 42. And we'll add x here. So x to the power of 42. Oops, hold on. Oops. And then we'll move on to our third one, which is the power of a product. The power of a product. Now our power of a product will be shown as a times b. Now this is our product, and now we'll put it to a power of something like 4. Now we'll distribute our 4 using the concept of a power of a power. So we'll distribute it to a 1 times 4 is equal to 4, and b times b to the 4th, the power of 4 is b to the 4th. Another example would be, let's see, x, y, z to the power of 3, and we'll distribute all the powers to get x cubed, y cubed, and z cubed. Next up, we're going to do power of a quotient. Alright, so how power of a quotient will look like is, first we're going to get our quotient, which is a divided by b, and we'll put it to the power of, for example, 3. Now, like we did with the power of a product, we're going to distribute our 3. So a cubed over b cubed. Another one would be xy over over z. Xy over z. And we'll take this and we'll put it to the 4th power. So we'll distribute x to the 4th, y to the 4th over z to the 4th. Then we'll move on to our next one, which would be the quotient of powers. Quotient of powers. Quotient of powers will have a quotient, and as for this, we'll have the same base. The top one will be a to the 6th, and then we'll have a to the 3rd on the bottom. So whenever we divide a power by a power, we'll subtract the exponents. So a 6 minus 3, which is a to to the third. Now this is the opposite of the product of powers where we multiply these exponents, which we have to add them up. As for our quotient of powers, we'll be subtracting them. And we have our next one, which is the zero exponent. Now, whenever you see anything to the power of 0, it'll always be equal to 1. Like 1 to the 0 is equal to 1, 2 to the 0 is equal to 1. This is a fairly simple concept to grasp, and it should come easy to you guys. Then we'll have the negative exponent, which is also pretty easy to visualize itself. We have negative exponent. So for negative exponent, we'll have a to negative 2. Now a to negative 2, what is it equal to? Now whenever we have a negative exponent, we'll have a in the denominator. So we'll turn it to 1 over a. And afterwards, as you can see, we have 2 here. And then we'll square our 2. So whenever we have a negative exponent, we're essentially turning it into a fraction. So we have a to the power of negative 3. We'll put it over 1, a cubed. Now, what if it's 1 to the power of negative 3? It'll be the same thing. 1 over 1 to the power of 3. Alright. Now, what if our negative exponent is in a denominator place, like this? A to the negative 2. What does this equal to? Now, you saw how we put for this one, we put this on the denominator's place. So instead of putting in the denominator, we'll just move it up. We'll move this up to a denominator. So a squared over 1 is equal to a squared. Onto our final one. We have rational exponents. Now, a rational exponent is when our exponent is a fraction, like a to 1 over 3. Now, how do we write this? So here, we have our 1. And then we'll have our 3 here. We're going to be turning it into a radical. So we have radical, with the radical symbol. A will always go inside the radical. And this value here will be distributed to a. So a to the first power. Now our 3 here will be our index, which is like square root to the third root to the fourth root, be right here. So if we have a to 2 over 4, we'll first make our symbol, we'll put a inside, and we'll distribute 2 to a, which is this, and then we'll put our index here. So a to the power of 2 over 4 is equal to 4 over 2, or we can simplify this into a 1/2, which is then equal to just a, square root of a. Now thank you guys all for watching, and in our next video, we'll go more in depth into these rational exponents. Have a nice day.